If you are trying to convince people to see your value, let me hold your hand while I say this. They are not your people. And the truth is, bestie, that is not where your energy belongs. And I am speaking from experience because I've done it more times than I would like to admit. I've tried to prove myself at work, in relationships, even in friendships. I thought if I just explained myself better, worked harder, showed more results, showed up for people more, was more selfless, was more giving, was more generous, was more available, was more friendly, was more likable, was more lovable, was more attractive, fill in the blank, that they'd see me, that they'd recognize me, that they'd value me, that they would appreciate me, that I would matter to them. But what I didn't realize while I was doing all of these things, what it was costing me, the tax and the toll that it was paying on my soul and my body. Every single time that I pushed and pushed and pushed for recognition, I was draining myself, depleting myself, completely annihilating any and all energy and self-respect that I had, and getting more and more bitter as time went on. The truth is, some people will never ever see you. They just won't. And it's not because you're not valuable. So remove that thought from your head right now. But more so because they're not looking for what you bring. They don't see what you bring. They don't see the brilliance and the value and the gem of who you are as a person. And unfortunately, forcing them to try and see that is just not going to work. For me, as a projector, recognition is absolutely everything. But it only matters when it's freely given. When somebody genuinely, from their own free will, wants to see me and wants to hold space and wants to recognize and wants to connect with me. When someone invites me, it's because they've recognized me. It's because they have actually opened up their heart to see me for who I truly am, willingly and lovingly. Not because I've tried to convince them or strong arm them into doing so. When I finally stopped chasing and gave that up, something shifted. I had more energy for the people who actually and naturally recognized me. I noticed who actually listened to me without me having to prove my worth or put on this whole performance for them to see me. And I realized the spaces that saw me and the people that saw me without me actually having to try or prove or do or be anything. Those were the spaces and those were the people where my guidance and my wisdom actually made an impact. It was actually valuable and not just something that I was pushing and trying to force feed. So if you're trying to convince someone to see you, see your value, see your worth, see your wisdom, see your heart, I want you to know, and I want to give you permission and say this. You don't have to do that. You don't. You don't have to make people see you. I invite you, I lovingly encourage you to put that down. You don't have to do that anymore. You just have to keep showing up where the seeing is already happening. Just keep being you and keep going and gravitating towards the people and the places that allow you to do that and where it feels good, like a warm hug, to just be you. Do you feel like you are having to prove your worth to people, whether that's relationships, friendships, your job, just every day in society? Do you feel that you have to do the absolute most for people to see you and see how awesome you are? If the answer is yes, I would love to hear more about that. I want to hear your story. So if you feel comfortable and called to do so, please drop it down below in the comments. And until next time, love you.